In this video, I'm going to show how to draw the structure of a human eye, that is a vertical section of the human eye. This vertical section shows three layers. So we begin by drawing the outermost layer. Now the outermost layer, in this we can see a bulge. The bulge is the anterior part and the other side is the posterior part. So posterior part is slightly thicker as compared to the anterior part. And this is a continuous complete layer. The second layer is also a complete layer which has slightly thicker region in the posterior side with a thinner part and a gap in between in the anterior side. The innermost of the third layer here is the layer which is an incomplete layer. This occupies 3/4 of the eye only. It does not come in the front. Then we are drawing here now the lens. After drawing the lens, we draw the eyelids. So this is the eyelids which help in protecting the eyes, and extending to the eyelid is the membrane that is called as a conjunctiva. Now let us start labeling the parts. So the outermost layer here is the sclera, the middle layer is called as the choroid, and the innermost layer is called as the retina. So these are the three layers of the eye: the sclera, which is the outer connective tissue, choroid, which is a pigmented layer, and retina, which is a photosensitive layer. In the retina, there is a depression which consists of majorly cone cells that is called as a macula lutea or the yellow spot. The neurons from the retina converge at a point that then forms the optic nerve, and the point where it converges is called as a blind spot. At this particular region, there are no rods and cones which are present in the other part of the retina. So since there are no rods and cones, this is called as the blind spot. And these neurons then form the optic nerve which carries the impulses to the brain. The choroid layer forms in front of the eye, that is in the anterior part of the eye, the ciliary body and the suspensory ligaments. The ciliary body and the suspensory ligaments holds the lens, and it helps in changing the shape of the lens to observe or to watch the far and near things clearly. The choroid also forms the iris, which helps in controlling the amount of light that enters by the pupil, controlling the pupil. The lens divides the eye into two parts: the anterior chamber, that is the aqueous chamber, and the posterior, which is the vitreous chamber. The gap in between the iris is called as a pupil, through which the light enters. This is the lens that we have labeled. The outermost layer of the eye, which is the transparent part and an extension of the sclera, is the cornea, and the membrane that is present in the outer part, which extends up to the eyelids, is called as the conjunctiva. Next we label the eyelids. So that is the eyelids that we label here. The upper eyelid and the eyelids are for protecting the eye, which also has the eyelashes that prevents any kind of dust from entering inside. The lens, as I told you earlier, divides the eye into two parts, that is the anterior part, which is the aqueous chamber containing the aqueous fluid, and the posterior part, which contains the vitreous chamber having the vitreous fluid. Vitreous fluid also helps in refraction of the light. Now here we are drawing a line through the pupil extending up to the yellow spot. This is called as a visual axis. Whenever we look at any particular object, the muscles of the eye turn the eyeball to such a position that the image that we look at is focused on the macula lutea or the yellow spot. So it turns the eyeball to make the image fall on that particular spot. So this is called as the area of brightest vision.